how does it feel to be 65?
Who's 65?
You're 65 in one day.
Just an age.
That's right.
In the mornings, yeah.
Clara Quinn, my cockapoo is pregnant, natural with another cockapoo, thrilled, but after watching this, I'm terrified. So what advice would you give to somebody, Tammy, on an up-and-coming litter?
Well, cockapoos, they have it naturally, don't they?
You'd expect so, yeah. I mean, well, I'm going to say is be prepared, right? What's the
Always be prepared.
What was the
but
Boy
you
Scouts
needed you needed to be prepared probably 2 weeks ago with everything that you thought you needed.
Well, she's just saying that her dog is pregnant. She's not saying,
okay.
She's got some time.
Don't wait last minute. Go ahead and get everything that you need.
So that's a good point. So I'm going to talk about that for a second because you brought up a great point.
Don't procrastinate.
So God, we're all so bad at that. It's like, I mean, my general policy is why do today what you can put off till tomorrow.
You got a mouse in your pocket? No. The better off.
So we get customers all the time. I get these texts all the time. I need an incubator. How quickly can I get it? And the answer to that question is...
I'm having puppies today. I need an incubator.
Yeah. The answer to that question is you can order something from us overnight. But it's very expensive to ship it. I mean, ship an incubator, $100.
Look at the weather that we're having.
Well, that's also right.
So places that it's got to go to may not get to make it or be stuck there because
happening right now, isn't it?
This time of year.
Happening right now.
We have ice.
Things that are
snow. So be prepared.
Yes.
Get your stuff now.
So things that are beyond our control would be, number one, weather. We didn't have stuff go out yesterday because of the weather. So there's an example. And the other one is that if you call us up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we don't have time to get your order put together. You can get it onto FedEx because FedEx comes typically by about 2 o'clock. We have to get it all packaged and checked and so on and so forth. So think about what you need and get it ahead of time, like 2 weeks ahead of time. That's our recommendation. So what do you need? So these are the things that I think that anybody should have for an upcoming litter. And of course, we're going to push our products because that's what we do, right?
Well,
so what are those? So I think the first thing that everybody should have is they should go get or have the stuff that is in our puppy care kit. It's not expensive. It's a little over $100, but it's got all the things that make sense that everybody should always have. So if you don't have that stuff, go review it on My Breeder Supply, see what's there, decide what you don't have, or just go get the kit. So that's the first thing, it's not expensive. The second thing would be is our heated whelping system makes your life so much easier and it gives you a better chance of having healthy puppies that don't aspirate, don't get squished.
Wait a minute, the traveling incubator too.
Well, but I'm going to put them in the order I think that...
most important?
Well, I mean, this is...
I don't know how you say most important when you've got a traveling incubator that saves puppies. It also, be prepared taking them home, keeping them nice and warm from the vet's office. During the vet's office, you've got it to put them in there.
So this is the...
And then the heated whelping system.
Well,
those two are the most important together. Yeah.
So let's talk about the incubator that Tammy just mentioned. So when you need an incubator, if you're having a C-section, you should have an incubator.
It's a traveling incubator, so it can be used both ways.
Right. If you're going to have a C-section, you should just go pony up $300 and get the traveling incubator.
And it has a plug-in to use in your car.
And at home.
And at home. And then when you're traveling there, go ahead and plug it in when you're traveling there.
And
get to the vet's office, plug it in at the vet's office.
Yes.
And you have the little adapters that go when it goes across the ponds.
Yeah, you can use it all over the world. Right.
Yeah.
So we just talked about people having C-sections. But what about the other people? The other people are having C-sections. The answer is, you don't know where you need it. But guess what? When you need it, you don't have it. And when you don't have it,
too late.
Puppies die. So, all right, so we've preached enough now. That gave us a segue into that one.
Think of it this way. Your baby, which is the mama dog, she started out as your baby. She's going to be having babies. So you want that protection.
So Capo223, can you check out my shorts?
What?
My car is a lilac mole. No, not that. Sure. Take a picture.
No,
send it to me.
Please don't. You don't want to see that.
I can't. I don't know who you are, so I can't check out your shorts in real life or on YouTube. So you've got to give me more information. Valiant Canines. I have a question about DNA. What DNA would give you the best opportunity of producing blue, lilac, Isabella, new shade morals with tan points?
That's a loaded question.
Well, my female is AYAT, so she carries 10 points. So if you breed to a dog with 10 points, half the litter will have 10 points. She is NKB, means she has a copy of brindle.
Oh.
You've got to choose a dog that doesn't have brindle, otherwise...
Because you bought a dog with 10 points, you don't want it to get it messed up, so you don't need the brindle.
Right, if you go with a non-brindle dog, then
half the litter
won't have brindle, and the half that have 10 points will show it. The half that have 10 points of brindle won't show it, so that's that part taken care of.
But the other half will show it.
Yeah,
with the 10 points.
your dog is NM, so it carries a copy of Merle. So you'd breed to a non-Merle dog, and half the dogs that you get are going to be Merle, so that's that covered. Your dog is big D, little d. So if you breed to a dog that's little d, half will be blue. Your dog is big B, big B. You cannot produce new shades or Isabellas because your dog doesn't have the necessary at least a single copy of big B. Your dog is NCO, carries a copy of Cocoa. So you choose a Cocoa dog, and half the litter will carry will be Cocos. They will be full chocolates. And your dog is big E, little e. So if you choose a cream dog, half the dogs will be cream. And finally, your dog is NS. If you choose that's pied. If you choose a pied dog, then half the litter will be pied. If you choose a non-pied dog, then none of them will be pied. If you choose a pied carrier, 1/4 will be pied. So, to put that into a nutshell for you, you can produce blues, chocolates, lilacs, and platinums, and pieds and morals. That's what you can produce. You cannot produce Isabellas and new shades. Okay. Blazing colours. Another DNA question. I've purchased 2 pups. DNA has been run through 2 labs and both results quite different. One I ran through NBark and the other I ran through my seller prior to me purchasing. Which company do you recommend? I run a third to hopefully get some results. Yeah.
It helps to know what the sire and the dame's DNA is.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Always. Because you'll know what you're going to get.
Because you have a good idea what makes sense. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
so if it doesn't make sense and you know what the DNA of both parents,
yes,
then have it retested. Say, I think there's a mistake here, and it's done for free because they already got the stuff.
So we're going to go back to that in a second because I think that's a great point. I'm going to go that a bit more deep, but I'm going to just keep on going here. One of the pups, 7 months old,
to know the DNA
had strong red eye glow. Both tests run so far are chocolate carriers or cocoa carriers, but pup is not Merle. So the next thing is that a chocolate carrier dog would not produce a red eye glow. There has to be 2 copies of either cocoa or little b. So that's confusing. And you've also got to be careful how you see the red eye glow. It really needs to be a video in a dark room that where you're got the light on your camera and you're looking at the video results, and it works out better if the dog's not looking face on but it's looking off to the side. Seems to show up.
You need to be at least 4 to 6 feet away.
And at 7 months old, it should be very, very obvious.
Yeah.
As opposed to a fleeting thing that's mixed with greens and blues, which is not a red eye glow.
In puppies, you can start in at
Right. So
4 and 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Probably about 5 and 6 weeks.
Normally you can start to see it, can't you? Not very convincing sometimes. I mean, it's one of those things that if you know what
you
you're
got to
looking
know
for.
what you're looking for in this.
And then also in a litter of puppies, if you've got a litter of puppies to look at, you know that only some of them can be full chocolates, then getting a comparison between the puppies is very, very helpful because it gives you an idea about what, if you've got, for instance, 2 carrier dogs, which gives you a chance of 25% being chocolates, and you say every dog looks chocolate, no, it's not likely. I mean, it could happen, but it's unlikely, right? So back to what Tammy was saying about this, which is exactly right. How do you know that the results that you've got are correct? And
that's what's going to be a big problem with these other breeders that just stepped in and don't have a clue.
Yeah, well, but what Tammy alluded to is exactly right. You have to have an idea of what's reasonable. And the way that you find out what's reasonable is you know the DNA on the parents. With that DNA, you can get a pretty darn good idea about what is, well, you can decide what is not possible, what is likely and what is rare but could happen. And based on that, you can look at the results. I'll give you an example. You breed to a platinum dog. That dog's little E, little E. One of the litter comes back and says it doesn't carry cream. It's not possible. That's not right. That you've got
passes that automatically.
Yeah, that dog. So you've got one or two possibilities here. The test results you got are wrong, or the dog that you think is a double E dog, a platinum dog, it's not. It could be like extreme pine or something. So the point here is exactly what Tammy said, is you have to have an idea. Look, we don't always do DNA tests, but the only time we don't do a DNA test is we know exactly what the litter is, because we have two what are called homozygous dogs. They both have double copies of everything, and they can, that's all they can possibly produce. But that's a rare situation for us, and it's only happened a few times in all the times we've been breeding. And so what do? If you go to Animal Genetics and you go get a single test done, for instance the aging, it costs you like $80. It's $135 for a complete coat color panel. Hell, go get the complete coat color panel, and that way you can convince everybody you know what we're talking about.
Right. And remember, they do discounts.
Certain times of the year, Valentine's coming up, they'll do a discount Valentine's. That's a good point. Yeah.
So take advantage of those.
Yes, exactly. If you can wait on something, certain times of the year.
If you can wait. If you've got puppies to sell right now.
You need it now.
You need it now.
And how responsive is Animal Genetics? The answer is they're the quickest of the whole lot.
Plus, a lot of people that want that DNA are not going to buy your dog without you knowing what that DNA
Quite
is.
right.
A lot of the people do. Now,
Quite
people
right.
that are just in it just to grab and just breed, they don't care.
Well, they want a pet.
Now, if they want a pet, that's a different deal.
Yeah.
You can sell it immediately.
Yeah, right. But what we do is we go get a DNA test done, and typically we don't really start advertising dogs to any degree until we know what the DNA
Not
is.
heavy anyway.
Yeah, because it gets confusing for people. Sometimes we had one the other day on that last litter where one of the dogs' DNA didn't come back, and we had to retest on that one dog.
Yeah.
So we put up what we thought it was with a question mark, which
Right.
proved to be which actually wasn't exactly right, but was close. And everybody else, we knew exactly what was going on.
Right.
So look, we've talked a long time about this. Let's see if we're going to do some other ones here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to answer another couple of questions to get them out of the way. Fixing a dog's hematoma, Lady Miss says, what kind of needle do I use, what size? So we're talking about draining an ear, and you're going to poke a needle into the bottom of it, and I would use a fairly large caliber needle, like an 18 or bigger. And what you're going to do is you're going to stick the needle into the ear, the very lowest point of where
Not inside the ear.
No, the outside.
The outside of the ear. You made it sound like it was in the ear.
Right,
no,
very
it's
good.
The outside.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
flap.
So here's my ear. Let's say that my
Flap
ear
of
was
the
all
ear.
swollen up. Then typically it swells up on the back side, and you want to find the lowest point where you can see that it's bulged, and stick a needle just in a little bit, maybe a quarter of an inch, and the needle, a fresh new needle, you've wiped down the area with alcohol and you've got everything sterile. You stick that needle in, and you leave that needle in there as you squish the ear down, and the blood, you don't need to use a syringe, the blood's just going to trickle out the back end of the needle, and you've got to
After you
do...
pull the needle out, right?
No, leave
You
the
leave
needle
that
in.
needle. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it keeps the hole open.
Oh, okay.
If you take the needle out, it tends to close up, you don't get all the blood out.
So you're going to need two people to help you with that.
Much better. But I had something, the reason, this is a good one, because I had a customer the other day call me about this, and they'd been to the vet, and the vet left drains in. And guess what? The drains fell out, and the thing filled back up with blood, and he didn't put the tube on there to wrap it around and compress the ear. So he's back to square one. So it was a poor way of doing it, in my opinion. So,
About forgot to turn off.
yes. Right, let's just see here. So enough on that one.
You forgot to turn it
Oh, I'm going to keep going here.
off. Oh, okay.
Now that's good enough for right now. I think we've got everything covered. Thanks for watching. Watch everybody. Bye.
Hey,
Yes.
call me. I've got puppies to sell.
You do?
Yes, I sure do.
What kind of puppies you got, Tammy?
Well, I've got fluffy carriers.
You do?
Yes, and I've got one full fluffy female that has the testable chocolate and the cocoa, so she is an Isabella maker. And one of those fluffy carriers is also an Isabella maker. And the other fluffy carriers are Merles. I've got one Merle boy left, and then I've got two Merle girls left. And then in the other litter is the blue fawns that I was talking about that has the testable chocolate. Those two are girls, one full fluffy, one fluffy carrier, and then I've got a fluffy carrier boy. And so my son also has an ogre puppies, which is a way better buy because when they're a little bit older, get them a little bit cheaper. I hate saying cheaper.
Well,
But anyway, there's a boy that's a fluffy carrier that is a blue and tan AT, carries cream, carries cocoa, nice little stud boy because he's small in size. And then the other little girl is a lilac fawn. She is beautiful.
She is.
And so my son has them. If you call me, I can direct you to that way of getting to see videos or FaceTime. Call me at 580-799-1910 and I can help you find a little puppy.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.